Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Welcome all to today's reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrit. We're reading from Lila, chapter 8, verse 21. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripartamam vande Shri Gurum Din Taridam Paramanandam Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Hari Om Tat Sat. स्वतंत्र ईश्वर प्रेम निगूढ़ भांडार बिलायला यारे तारे na kaila vichar. Swatantra, full independent, Ishvara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Prema, love of God, Nigura, very confidential, Bhandara, stock, Bila, Leila, distributed, Yare, to anyone, Tare, to everyone, Na, not, Kaila, did, Vichara, consideration. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself, is fully independent. Therefore, although it is the most confidentially stored benediction, he can distribute love of Godhead to anyone and everyone without consideration. Purport: this is the benefit of Lord Chaitanya's movement. If one somehow or other comes in contact with the Hare Krishna movement, without consideration of his being a Shudra, Vaishya, Jagai, Madhai, or even lower, he becomes advanced in spiritual consciousness and immediately develops love of Godhead. We now have actually experienced that throughout the entire world, this movement is making many such persons lovers of God simply by the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared as a spiritual master of the entire world. He does not discriminate between offenders and the innocent. Krishna Prema Pradayate, he liberally gives love of Godhead to anyone and everyone. This can be experienced as stated in the next verse, verse 22. Adyapiha dekha chaitanya nama ye laya Krishna preme pula kashru vihvala sehaya. Adyapiha, even up to date, dekha, you see, Chaitanya nam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name, ye, anyone, laya, who takes, Krishna preme, in love of Krishna, pulak ashru, tears in ecstasy, vihval, overwhelmed, say he haya, becomes. Translation: whether he is offensive or inoffensive, anyone who even now chants Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu's Nityananda is immediately overwhelmed with ecstasy and tears fill his eyes. Purport: the Prakrita Sahajiyas who chant Nitai Gaura Radhe Shyam have very little knowledge of the Bhagavad conclusion, and they hardly follow the Vaishnav's rules and regulations, and yet because they chant Bhaja Nitai Gaur, their chanting immediately evokes tears and other signs of ecstasy. Although they do not know the principles of Vaishnava philosophy and are not very much advanced in education, by these symptoms they attract many men to become their followers. Their ecstatic tears will of course help them in the long run, for as soon as they come in contact with a pure devotee, their lives will become successful. Even in the beginning, however, because they are chanting the holy names of Nitai Gaura, their swift advancement on the path of love of Godhead is very prominently visible. Verse 23. Nityananda balite haya Krishna premodaya olaya sakala anga ashru ganga vaya. Nityananda balite, while talking of Nityananda Prabhu, haya, it so becomes Krishna prema udaya, awakening of love of Krishna, olaya, agitated, sakala, all, anga, limbs of the body, ashru ganga, tears like the Ganges water, vaya, flow down. Translation: simply by talking of Nityananda Prabhu, one awakens his love for Krishna. Thus, all his bodily limbs are agitated by ecstasy, and tears flow from his eyes like the waters of the Ganges. Verse 24. Krishna nama kare apradhera vichara, Krishna balile apradhera nahaya vikara. Krishna nam, the holy name of Lord Krishna, kare, takes, apradhera, of offenses, vichara, consideration, Krishna, Lord Krishna, balitle, if one chants, aparadhira, of the offenders, Now never haya becomes vikar, changed. Translation: there are offenses to be considered while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Therefore, one simply by chanting the Mahamantra, one does not become ecstatic, but it is beneficial to chant the names of Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda before chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Because by chanting these two holy names, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, one immediately becomes ecstatic, and if he then chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he becomes free of offenses. There are 10 offenses to avoid in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. The first offense is to blaspheme great personalities who are engaged in distributing the holy name of the Lord. It is said in Shastra Antelila CC Antelila 7.11, Krishna Shakti Vina Nahe Tare Pravartana. One cannot distribute the holy name of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra unless he is empowered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not criticize or blaspheme a devotee who is thus engaged. Shri Padma Puran states, Satam Ninda Namnaha Paramam Aparadham Vitanate Yataha Khyatim Yatam Katham Usahate Tad Vigraham. To blaspheme the great saintly persons who are engaged in preaching the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra is the worst offense at the lotus feet of the holy name. One should not criticize a preacher of the glories of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one does so, he is offender. The Nama Prabhu is identical with Krishna, will never tolerate such blasphemy activities even from one who passes as a great devotee. The second Namaprad is described as below. Shivasya Shri Vishnur ya iha guna namadi sakalam diya bhinnam pashyet sakhalu harinamahita karaha. In this material world, the holy name of the Vishnu is all auspicious. Vishnu's name, form, qualities, and pastimes are all transcendental, absolute knowledge. Therefore, if one tries to separate the absolute personality of Godhead from his holy name or his transcendental form, qualities, and pastimes, thinking them to be material, that is offensive. Similarly, to think that the names of demigods such as Lord Shiva are as good as the name of Lord Vishnu, or in other words, to think that Lord Shiva and the other demigods are other forms of God and are therefore equal to Vishnu is also blasphemous. This is the second offense at the lotus feet of the holy name of the Lord. The third offense at the lotus feet of the holy name, which is called Gurur Avagya, is to consider the spiritual master to be material and therefore to envy his exalted position. The fourth offense, Shruti Shastra Nindam, is to blaspheme Vedic literatures such as the four Vedas and the Puranas. The fifth offense, Arthavada, is the considering of the glories of the holy name to be exaggeration. Similarly, the sixth offense, Hari Namni Kalpanam, is to consider the holy name of the Lord to be imaginary. The seventh offense is described as below. Namno balad yasya pap buddhir na vidyate tasya yamer hi shuddhi. To think that since the Hare Krishna mantra can counteract all sinful reactions, one may therefore go on with his sinful activities and at the same time try to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to neutralize them is the greatest offense at the lotus feet of Harinam. The eighth offense is stated as Dharma Vrata Tyaga Utadi Sarva Shubha Kriya Samyam Api Pramadaha. It is offensive to consider the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra to be ritualistic ceremony. Performing religious ceremonies, following vows, and practicing renunciation and sacrifices are all materialistic, auspicious activities. The chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra must not be compared with such material religiosity. This is an offense at the lotus feet of the Lord, name of the Lord. The ninth offense is described as below, as follows: Ashradhane Vimukhe Api Ashranavati Yash Jupadesha Shiva Nama Paradha. It is an offense to preach the glories of the Lord of the holy name among persons who have no intelligence or no faith in the subject matter. Such people should be given the chance to hear the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, but in the beginning they should not be instructed about the glories of the spiritual significance of the holy name. By constant hearing of the holy name, their hearts will be purified and they will be able to understand the transcendental position of the holy name. The 10th offense is as follows: Shrute api namam mahatmai yah priti rahito naraha aham mamadi paramo namni so api aparadhkrit. If one has heard the glories of the transcendental holy names of the Lord, but nevertheless continues to be in materialistic concept of life, thinking of his body and everything belongs to this body is mine, aham mameti, and does not show any respect and love for the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra, that is an offense. So next time we will continue from verse number 25. Thank you for joining. Hari Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.